Hey guys, welcome back. If you're new here, my name is Christy. I'm homeschool mom to 3. Today's video is going to be a chatty video all about next homeschool year and kind of the individual goals and things I want to focus on for my children. So this is going to be a really super casual video if you haven't gathered by now. I'm literally weeding my garden. It's really bad. I haven't done it in a few days because all week has been 100 degrees and I just have not wanted to. Also, my kids are kind of playing in the yard over there, so if you hear swings like that or anything like that, that's them. So first, what I'm gonna talk about, so I have goals in my mind, kind of loose goals about how I want our year to go next year. But then I also have specific focus points for each child. And that I kind of determine just by seeing what the past year went, how it went, what we did, what they accomplished, kind of where they're at in their learning, and also what they're interested in. For my oldest daughter, last year we had a really high focus on writing for her, and specifically learning how to write in a more structured way. She has always been a more reluctant writer, so that's always been kind of a stress point. So I really just wanted to focus on that for her for the main language arts part last year. I feel like she made a ton of progress last year in that area. However, I still really want to focus on that continuing into next year. So writing is something that I feel like is so important for kids to learn, especially in that middle school and high school level, because that is a lot of what college is a lot of written responses to things, research projects, essays on what you read, kind of like the information, and then putting it into writing that they're learning. And so I really want her to get really confident with specifically written responses to things, whether it be literature or a science topic or a history topic, just something, where she can read information and then write a response to maybe a deep thought-provoking question or an opinion about something. So that is going to go into next year. Writing is going to be our focus again. We did move back into lightning literature for next year, and so literature is also going to be a focus. And with it being her last middle school year, technically, that is important too, reading good literature and all of that. So I think we're going to have a really strong language arts year, and I'm excited about that. For math for her, she actually is kind of caught up to where she should be as according to standards. And as you guys know, if you follow me for a while, I did give her a little bit of a extra middle school year just because she was in school during COVID and that whole ordeal, and so she always was a little bit behind, and then math isn't her strongest subject area anyway, so she's finally kind of where she should be for an 8th grader. And so we're just going to keep focusing on trucking along for that. So main focus for her is going to be writing. As far as her passions, she's developed a really big interest in animation and that whole thing. And so I'd love to kind of hone and focus on that for her, just to explore it a little bit, to see if it's something that she wants to possibly pursue in the future. She has always been so animal focused and has always wanted to do something in zoology. And so she still has that passion. So she still loves all of that, and she still wants to do that for the most part. But she has, like I said, developed this kind of animation and possibly wanting to get into that later. So I really want to try to find some courses for her to kind of explore that a little bit. And that's going to be kind of her focus for next year. Now, for my middle child, my son, he is going into 3rd grade. And our focus for him mainly is reading. So he's still very much learning how to read. He has made a ton of progress this last year. He's definitely made a lot of leaps. But for next year, it will still be a big focus of our school year, is kind of getting him more fluent with reading, He has made a really big progress in comprehension, I felt like, this last year, in remembering and understanding what he's reading. So that is really, really great. And so we're just gonna kind of, focus on the basics of reading, just trying to give him more. I've been like on this hunt of trying to find books that are kind of like his level of where he's at to read, because I have found that he actually really enjoys when he can just sit down and read like a story rather than do his curriculum. Like, obviously we're going to follow his curriculum, but to really help him practice and kind of form that love of reading, I've been trying to like find books and stuff for him, which is actually very challenging. It's really hard to know what level readers are good for him. I feel like all companies kind of make easy readers, but none of them are like standard. So it's like you have to look at them to kind of see if it's going to be something that they're capable of. I have found a few at our library. So we have used those. And so I'm just going to keep hunting for books for him to just read in his free time and just practice. So yeah, he's been doing really well with that. He's always done really well with math, so we're just going to keep, progressing along with that. And then his big interest, he's very interested in like hands-on things, like working things, like building things and how things work and that kind of thing. And so I really would like to maybe find some kind of STEM classes or units or something that he would really enjoy, whether that be like simple machine type things or like forces and motions or engineering, something like that. I think he would really like. And really, for all of my kids, one of my biggest focuses and goals for next school year is to add in more fun and like interest-based things to our days. I feel like I have always been very minimalistic when it comes to our school days, and I've always been very, focused on the basics for the most part. Obviously, we have done the extra subjects too, but I feel like I want to just kind of take our time more in our school days to explore lots of different things and interests of my kids, just to add in some fun learning during the day that they are like on fire about and passionate about. So that is something I think that he would really enjoy, is like STEM stuff or STEAM stuff. So I'm going to be looking into some things like that. I know that our local community center does do different like youth classes like that. Like they do like STEM classes and they do art classes and that kind of thing. And so I might possibly look into something for that for him. Yeah, so if you have any suggestions for that, please let me know down below, because I'm on hunt. Here I am sitting here and I'm like not even reading, whatever. For my youngest daughter, so for her, she had her kindergarten year last year and I think it went really well. She has requested doing science. She really wants to do her own kind of science studies. So I'm really trying to add in, little simple science units because she has an interest in that. And then recently she's super interested in birds. So I might do like a bird unit with her. She really wants to get a bird book. And so I probably will kind of just let her kind of explore that a little bit. And then as far as her main things and skill set, we are just starting that learning to read process. She is reading CVC words. And honestly, without a lot of help from me, she kind of just took that initiative and started wanting and trying and learning to read more so on her own for the most part. I obviously did help her, with the blending process and things, but she's doing really well with that. And she's really excited about that. Like, she really wants to learn to read. And I have found that she is grasping that pretty quickly. So I'm excited about where she's going to go next year with that. And we will be starting All About Reading with her next year. And I'm excited to see, how that program works for her. I also think that bringing in a little bit of the good and the beautiful might be good too, just to try out different learning styles, because I feel like she may progress a little bit faster and not need as systematic as All About Reading is. And I also think that she does really well with the good and the beautiful's learning style. So I don't know. We'll see what happens. I definitely settled on all about reading level 1 in my curriculum choice video, but there is a possibility of trying out the kindergarten from the good and the beautiful just to try it, just to see kind of where she's at with her style. Math is something that I have noticed might be a little bit more challenging for her. Maybe not, maybe that's the wrong word. Maybe she's kind of just, normal in that sense, because math didn't come easy for my oldest. It came really super easy for my middle one, and she's kind of in between. Like, I feel like she might struggle a little bit more like her sister, but she's definitely not super, it doesn't come like as easily to her as it did with her brother. So she's a little bit behind in math just because we used Matthew C last year, and I feel like a lot of it didn't really click with her. And so we're going to move into a more engaging and systematic curriculum for her next year, and I'm excited to see how she does with that. I think it's more of a curriculum issue in this case than anything, which I don't always blame a curriculum for things whatsoever, and I don't have anything bad to say about Matthew C. It's just not what worked really well for her. So math is probably going to be a little bit of more of a focus next year as well, just in general, in just honing those basic math skills for that first grade level. So I'm going to be doing that. For her, like I said, she really wants to do science things. So we are going to be probably using a little bit of, there's like this Miss Frizzle science unit studies that I found. I can't remember who it's by, but I will link it down below. But they're little units based on the Magic School Bus books. And so they go on each topic, and I think that those will be a really simple way to introduce science every once in a while for her. And then, like I said, the birds focus that she's just all of a sudden really interested in. So, and she's always loved animals, so anything animal she's super interested in. She also loves art. So I really want to give her a lot of, resources and tools to really hone that this year. Obviously she's so young, so putting her in an art class, probably not yet, but I do know that she really likes following tutorials, on YouTube, and she really likes doing art when we use like our art curriculum, like our outside the box art study and that kind of thing. So I'm just gonna make sure that we are still doing that for her, because she's always drawing and painting, and she's all of a sudden started picking up clay and sculpting. So she definitely loves all of that. And so I definitely want to nurture that interest of hers. So that's pretty much it for my kids. I am also a big believer in setting, some focus points or some goals for myself as the mom, in both interest areas, because I feel like homeschool is such a big part of my identity, and I also need to do other things and things that I'm passionate about and really hone that too for me, for my peace and sanity. So I would really like to take some art classes next year. I love art. I love doing a lot of different art, and one area that I really would like to learn more about is watercolor. I have not a lot of experience with watercolor, and so I think it would be really fun to take a class or use a unit or something. I know there's a couple out there that I just might pick up for myself just to do. And if my kids want to join in too, they can as well. But I really just want to really kind of, nurture my passions as well, which happen to be like art. And then also, planning better for the future of different things, like being more organized is always one of my goals. That doesn't come very easy to me, so I'm always working on that. And then the fact that Lacey's going to be, entering high school, I'm trying to start, record keeping a little bit more. And then some things that she uses this year can count as credits for next year. And so I have to figure all that out. So that is also something that I'm focusing on next year, is just kind of, get more serious about that kind of thing, the things that are required for high school. because we will be entering that territory very soon. So I hope that you guys enjoyed this little chatty video. Please let me know some of your guys' focus points or homeschool goals for next year, things that you're going to be focusing on or planning. I would love to know. Leave them down below, as well as any suggestions for any of the areas that I talked about. And I hope you guys have a wonderful day, summer day, wherever you are, and I will see you guys soon. Bye.